Today, we're diving into this incredible story hidden right under the streets of Paris. It's all about a technology that promised this amazing new future, and it was powered by something we literally never think about, the air we breathe. Okay, so picture this. You're in Paris, late 19th century. It's the city of lights, right? But not electric lights, not yet. Industry is just exploding. Businesses need power, people need all kinds of services. But there's no electrical grid to just plug into. So what do? How do you power all of that?
Well, the answer they came up with was just brilliant. It was as invisible as it was ingenious. Not electricity, not steam, at least not for everyone. No, it was compressed air. Think about that. A whole city-wide utility delivering power through this massive network of pipes, just hissing away silently right under the cobblestones.
And hey, this was no small-time experiment. Just look at this map. This is from 1965, believe it or not. Every single one of those red lines, that's a pipe carrying compressed air. It was this huge, sprawling power grid under the ground, kind of like the circulatory system for all of Paris's industry, and it reached almost every corner of the city. Incredible.
So the big question is, how did this incredible, totally invisible power grid actually work? All right, let's get into it.
So the whole concept is called pneumatic power. And you know what? It's actually really simple. Basically, you've got a central plant with these massive steam engines driving compressors. These things just squeeze the air, pressurizing it like crazy. Then, that pressurized air gets piped all over the city, and when it gets where it's going, it's released to power, well, whatever you need. A motor, a drill, a clock. It's almost like a mechanical exhale, and that exhale is what powered the city.
Of course, every huge innovation like this needs a champion, right? A visionary. For Paris's pneumatic network, that guy was Victor Popp. He was an Austrian engineer, and he saw something bigger here. This wasn't just about some niche gadget. He envisioned a whole new kind of public utility.
Yeah, Pop's vision was anything but small. He literally dreamed of an air for everything city. And for a while there, that dream actually became a reality, an astonishing one.
And this right here, this is where it all started. I mean, just look at this illustration of the main factory. You can practically feel the ambition of the era, can't you? This wasn't just some workshop. It was more like an industrial cathedral, totally dedicated to producing this invisible fuel for a modern city.
So you're probably wondering, how did this thing grow so fast? Well, it started pretty small, with a really clever idea. Pneumatic clocks. Pop's company would send a little puff of air through the pipes every single minute, and that puff would advance the hands on thousands of clocks all at once. Bam! Perfectly sync time across Paris. That success led to the big prize, a concession from the city in 1887 that let them lay pipes in the famous sewers. And from there, they went way beyond just telling time. They started delivering raw power.
And you know what? It worked like a charm. You don't have to take my word for it. Listen to this from back in 1888. This is Leon Hirsch, the owner of the famous Café de Paris. He used a compressed air motor to generate his own electricity for 250 lamps. He said it gave him very great services. So you see, this wasn't some abstract theory. It was a real, powerful solution that businesses in Paris were actually using. And the uses for this stuff? Oh man, they were all over the place. This was literally the sound of the city working. You'd have the hum of pneumatic sewing machines and garment shops, the steady turning of lathes in factories. Even the whir of your dentist's drill was probably powered by this. It ran refrigeration for butchers, and get this, even for the city morgue. The best part was, it was clean, it was quiet, and it didn't produce any heat, which made it absolutely perfect for all those small, crowded workshops.
But Pop's amazing air network wasn't the only new kid on the block. There was a competitor emerging, one that would, eventually take over the entire 20th century: electricity. And this set the stage for a really fascinating battle for the future of Paris. Okay, this slide just perfectly captures the raw industrial power behind this whole network. On the left, you see the clean, elegant engineering blueprint. But on the right, that's the massive reality. Look at how those workers are just dwarfed by the very machines they're building back in 1891. This was serious, heavy-duty tech, built to last.
And the amount of power they were pumping out? It was just staggering. In 1891 alone, that 1 year, the network produced over 166 million cubic meters of compressed air. That's a number so big it's kind of hard to wrap your head around, right? It just shows you the incredible scale of this system and how much demand there was for it. So here's where it gets really interesting, how these two technologies actually compared. Compressed air, it was the king of motive force, actually making machines move. Its infrastructure was these super tough iron pipes, tucked away safely in the sewers. Electricity, on the other hand, was mostly seen as being for lighting. Its infrastructure was this delicate kind of newfangled network of wires. But here's the crazy part. The same company, Victor Pop's CPAC, was a pioneer in both. They were literally hedging their bets, producing and selling compressed air and electricity at the same time.
So for decades, these two energies actually lived side by side. But a series of events, some of them catastrophic, some of them just slow and gradual, started to tip the scales. And this was the beginning of the long, slow end for the pneumatic dream.
Yeah, it wasn't just one thing that did it in. It was more like a death by 1,000 cuts. First, the Great Flood of 1910. That was a massive blow. Then World War I made the coal they needed to run the compressors super expensive and hard to get. By the time the Roaring '20s came around, electricity was just proving to be more efficient and versatile. Then you have another World War, and after that, the slow decline of industry in central Paris. The system was basically losing all its best customers. And then finally, in 1994, the city's contract was up and the whole network was officially shut down.
And this photo? Wow. This captures one of those pivotal moments of crisis I just mentioned. This is the huge Quad Lagar factory, the very heart of the network, completely swamped by the Great Flood of 1910. It's just a powerful reminder that even the most incredible industrial systems are still vulnerable to Mother Nature.
And you can see that decline in the numbers right here. Remember the pneumatic clocks, the system's original flagship product? Well, look at the dramatic drop in subscribers. What was once a totally cutting-edge service was just slowly being replaced by newer, more personal tech.
So, the great plans were torn down, the giant compressors fell silent for good. But does that mean the story is completely over? Well, not quite. The system left behind these echoes that are still under the city today.
It's pretty amazing to think about. If you could somehow go down into the sewers under Paris right now, you would still find them. These heavy, silent iron pipes from the pneumatic network. They're still there. A real physical remnant of this forgotten age, like a ghost in the city's machine.
You know, the story of this pneumatic network is so much more than just a cool piece of history. It's a really fascinating glimpse into a future that almost happened, a kind of steampunk reality of clean, quiet, mechanical power that just got overshadowed by the electric age. And all of this really leaves us with one final thought. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other huge, revolutionary, and now totally forgotten technologies are hiding just beneath the surface of our own cities, just waiting for someone to find them again?